To live truthfully in imaginary circumstances.
To live truthfully in the imaginary circumstances. Well done. More easily said than done, right? What makes this so difficult in the context of acting? To live truthfully in the imaginary circumstances. Go ahead.
You have to use all your senses. I mean, not only do you have to believe that you're in this world with these characters, but you have to feel that you're in this world with these characters. That means using your sense of smell, your hearing, your eyesight. If it's like in a hot stage, or when you're filming a movie, but you have to imagine you're in cold blizzard or something. You have to really imagine that you're almost on the point of death, of freezing.
Yeah, it's a gargantuan task of imagination, not just with your mind, but with all of your senses, your full body. What else makes this difficult to live truthfully? Here, I'm going to add to it. So living truthfully means that you're discovering moment by moment as the action unfolds, right? So we've got this moment, discovery. And just for the sake of time, I'll tell you what I'm getting at. The biggest obstacle is that we've practiced it, we've rehearsed it, we've memorized the lines. The actor, we know exactly what's going to happen. Well, not exactly, but we know pretty much what's going to happen. But as the character, you don't. So we have this contradiction of following a very precise agreed upon score of actions, dialogue, words, verbal and physical actions, right? Verbal and physical actions, you with me on that? Like what we say and what we do. And yet, as the character, you have to be discovering it as though it's never happened before. This is the first time, every time. And that much of our technique is designed to make that possible, that discovery, that moment-to-moment discovery. Good. The first layer of living in the circumstances. What did you all come up with in your group? First layer, the base layer.
You have to feel the character's emotion.
No.
Got it. So,
but good. I'm glad you said it though, because it gives me the opportunity to emphasize again and again that emotions are something that we don't really talk about because A, we can't control them. We want to make the conditions for emotions to get stirred up in us, but we can't control it. Emotions are complex, so when we put it into words, it often reduces it to something flat and not truthful. In truthful behavior, we're often, we're feeling those emotions, but we're also masking them, trying not to show them. That's part of the action, right? But just like the basic layer, the easiest, the most accessible layer. Yeah.
Is this activator of senses?
Yes. Yeah, it's
Jeopardy.
Yeah, the first layer is the senses, activating the senses. What I would, the shorthand I have for this is the inner and outer environment. So the outer environment, we did all the list of the senses. What does it smell like? What are the sounds? What's the quality of light? What time of day is it? Is it cold? The temperature, the textures, all of these things, the senses. Sometimes they're being simulated in our imaginations. Sometimes then the imaginary circumstances is opposite of the real circumstances. Like anytime you're playing cold weather and you're wearing big heavy coats and yet you've got thousands of kilowatts of light shining on you. But sometimes there's real stimulus happening. You know, if I'm holding something, I'm typing on a keyboard, there's physical contact with my partners on stage. There can be, the senses get stimulated in real ways also. Does that make sense? So the basic layer, when you start to approach your scene, you want to start with like, what is happening environmentally with my senses? What does it just feel like to be in this space? What's happening inside my body as well? Am I hungry? Am I having hunger pains? Am I like wired from too much caffeine? Have I been drinking alcohol? Lots of plays have people, you know, inebriated, because that's when the emotions really start to flow, man. So what's happening in your inner environment? What's happening in the outer environment? And the inner environment also leads us to like a mental state, a psychophysical state. I've been up all night. I'm tired. I've been drinking too much coffee. I'm stressed about, you know, my final exam that's coming up, so I've been cramming it in. My eyes hurt. You know, I'm sitting in front of the computer. My back hurts. All of this creates a mental state for me, right? Does that make sense? So the physicality, so getting yourself physically into the circumstances is like the basic layer, and it's something that you have more control over than some of the more complex psychological things, which is what we're getting to next. Primary stimulus in scene work. The answer is pretty obvious when you hear it. Did you come up with anything in your small groups? Over here, did you guys come up with anything? Primary stimulus in scene work?
I said scene partner.
Exactly. Who else said that? Did that come up in your discussion? Yes, don't be shy. Yeah. Your primary source of stimulus is your partner. What's really happening? Sanford Meisner, like I always say this. If you ever watch a video of Sanford Meisner coaching, he's always asking, what is really happening? Again, sometimes that's a contradiction, because you may have a scene partner, someone who you just despise. You don't get along with them in real life, you don't like them, but you have to play like romantic lovers. So, anyone ever seen the movie Singing in the Rain?
Oh my god. And I did the show
Yes.
too.
Yeah, but it's like classic example of like
Singing Rain. Yeah.
Gene Kelly's character and then Melina
Such a
Lamont.
good show.
But your connection with your partner stimulates what's really happening. Being tuned into your partner, adjusting, moment to moment, adjusting to what your partner is doing. This is the stimulus that we've been working on the past couple of classes, right? We haven't used this word before, but it's a concept I'm going to introduce today, which is active listening. Active listening, because we know what the lines are, right? We already know what the partner's going to say because it's the next line in the script. But I know what my next line is because it's the next line in the script. But one of the ways that I shift to discovery rather than just saying the lines because it's the next line in the script is by really actively listening to my partner, reading their body language, reading the subtext, the tone of voice, trying to figure out like how can I move or how can I change them moment to moment, actively listening to my partner. In life, sometimes we fall into active listening in a very natural way. Other times, we just tune out the listening and get caught up in our own interior monologue. But on stage, you've got to be in that active listening mode as though your survival depends upon it. All right. What are the elements of a charged relationship? What'd you come up with for that? Let's hear some thoughts. You guys over here. Aiden, right? Aiden?
Yeah.
And what's your name?
Sean.
Sean. Yeah, Sharp Sean. And Thomas, not Tony. I want to call you Tony. Who is the four? Were you a group of three?
Yeah, it's just three.
What did you guys come up with?
Like love and hate and power and powerlessness.
Yeah, who else came up with that? Love, hate, power. Did you all? Great, excellent. Love, and just doppelganger hate,
Isn't there more to that though? Like
or power,
trusting or knowing the person?
or both. Who asked that question?
Me.
Yeah, there is more. I mean, obviously it's more complex than that, but this is your starting point. So in other words, when I first enter into like the scene work, I'm asking myself, is my relationship, well, I mean, the first thing is how do I get this charge? Like we talked about a little bit how we've seen, plays or movies where there wasn't really chemistry between the people. So what do I do to get the charge? So the first thing is it the love or is it power? Where is the struggle? Is this a love or power dynamic going on here? Or both? And so then there was another dimension to this as well that we talked about. Charge relationship. Anyone remember? It's a very, very, very important question, and it relates to not just the charge relationship, but the charge relationship as a really good starting point for this question. And the question is, anyone? The other dimension of charge relationship? It's what do you care about? Which leads us into our vulnerability, right? What do you care about? Does that make sense? In this relationship, what do I care about? Usually it's two things. One is how does my partner perceive me? Does that ring true to your own personal experience? Does it make you vulnerable when you start thinking about how people perceive you? Just gonna write perception here. So you care about how your partner perceives you, and then particularly in a love relationship, but could also be in a power relationship, what's the other thing you care about in terms of your partner? Just think about people you love. What do you care about? When you love someone, what do you care about?
Their feelings?
Say what?
Personality?
Well, that may be why you're drawn to them, but it's not necessarily what you care about.
Their well-being.
Their well-being. Does that make sense? Do you see the difference? In other words, also, the choices you as the character make are going to be built around these two things. I'm going to choose to take an action because it's going to affect how my partner perceives me. It's going to make them love me. It's going to make them attracted to me. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going on a diet. I'm going to lose weight because then my partner will be attracted to me because right now things have gotten a little stale or whatever. Or, I'm putting a curfew on you because you've been going out, hanging out with your friends, getting drunk, driving recklessly, and now I'm putting a curfew on you because I care about your well-being and your future. Okay? The choices that you make are driven by what you care about.
Hey bro, put the bottle down, bro.
And with all the complexity that emerges, it begins, the seeds for that complexity are in these like simple choices. All right. Elements of charge relationship. So as you enter into scene work, you want to make sure you're being specific. And really, particularly, what do I care about? It's going to make it personal. It's going to lead you into vulnerability. Okay, I'm gonna introduce a new concept here, which is related to all of this, which is, well, actually, even before that, we talked about this last time, but once we're in a charged relationship, then in our stage circumstances, there's almost always a conflict or a problem. We're not going to the theater to see people who are just hanging out, being happy. We can just, probably go to the bar for that or something. The situations in plays and movies and TV shows are always built around conflict and problem. I'm in a relationship and there's some problem in the relationship. And then, as the character, I have a strong point of view about my partner. Right? So my point of view is that the example of like the curfew, like my child has so much potential, but they're really fucking up right now, and I can't let that happen. That's a strong point of view. My point of view, she's the most gorgeous woman I've ever met. That's a strong point of view. Very surface, but having a strong point of view. Are you guys doing okay over here?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
So I can see the body language. Having a strong point of view drives you into strong behavior, which is what we want on stage. Ultimately, all of this is to make an electric charge, moment to moment life happening on stage. So I've got a strong point of view about you. You're my boss, and you're a fucking asshole, power hungry, other fucker. Right? Point of view. Just kind of quickly, now points of view, we'll back it up for a moment, because part of what just makes us who we are our strong points of view. Who here has a strong point of view on something, anything? Strong point of view. Yeah, Anthony.
Movies and acting, it's art, and I will die by that statement.
Movies and acting are art? All movies and acting?
All movies.
Is there a bad movie?
Yeah, there's really shitty movies, don't get me wrong. There's really sucky bad
And that can be a strong point of view, right?
But there's also...
You can get into a fight with someone, I thought this movie was total crap, and I thought it was great art. Ashley?
Voice. Oh, yeah.
What?
Voice acting.
Yeah, that's an ambition. I'm talking about point of view in the world, the fucking world around you. Things going on in the world around you. What do you have opinions about, point of view about? Yeah, Roger.
We should be paying hundreds at 11:30 at night for a $10 meal. I will stand by that.
Oh my god, me too, because I work at fast food too. Why the hell are you giving me $100 when your order's like $3? What the frick?
Oh,
Oh
that's
my
such a
God.
lucky. Yeah.
Yes.
You give like $100 bill.
I'm confused.
My boss banning playing music in the kitchen is a stupid decision.
Yeah, that's some fucked up bullshit, right?
What time I said.
Other strong points of view. Who's got a strong point of view? Samantha, do you have a strong point of view on something? Okay. Oh, you got another one, Ashley? Yeah.
Don't always leave your pets outside. They also need to be brought inside because when it's raining and it's cold and they're wet and they get
So people who leave their pets outside all the time are cruel, would be the point of view.
What if my dog?
Yeah, Samantha.
AI should not take over real people acting.
Yes.
Oh my god, yes.
If that
I
happens,
agree.
I will literally fall off the end of the earth. No.
Yes. What would you fight for? What do you go to the mat for? What would you die for?
The strike that's happening with the writers. Yes.
That is so stupid.
Yeah. So we have points of view about the world, about things happening in the world politically. Points of view about about economics, about politics, but we have points of view about people too and their behavior. So it's really important when you start getting into the mindset of the character that you inhabit their point of view, particularly their point of view on your partner. Okay. Great.
No, I have another one.
Good. You got another one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, why are old people only allowed to be in offices? You know, like.
We can complain about the presidency all day long.
Talking about political office?
Yeah, like Sleepy Joe. Like, he doesn't know anything what's going on. He doesn't even know where he's at. We need someone younger.
All right, what are we gonna do about it?
I'm running for president. Huh?
I'm voting for you.
Yes.
Of course, in the world, there's all these hot button issues that I don't know if nobody really brought up. I mean, you started to with the age of Joe Biden. I'll just point out that Trump is only 4 years younger than him.
No.
Oh my God. I don't know who I stepped over their own.
So, but anyway, there's all these hot button issues in society, and I don't know if you are avoiding them, or you don't really care about them, or don't feel like it's like not comfortable raising them or whatever. But I just say to you that the space of theater, the space of making art, is where we want to dive into those uncomfortable things to make. That's what makes great art, is when we dive into the hot button, uncomfortable, difficult, dark places of human experience. All right, so now.
I got one more.
All right, so.
We have 10 minutes.
15 minutes.
Or 15.
Yeah, 15 minutes. So, we're gonna, listen up folks, we're gonna go fairly quickly through this. But I thought that was a really, really good review. So now we're zeroing in on the scene. We have a scene, we've got given circumstances given to us by the author. We've got dialogue, words that we're gonna speak. Maybe there's actions that are in the stage directions or maybe not. But part of your job, a big part of your job is to figure out the physical life, the actions that you're doing that drive the need to speak those words. In other words, we're not saying the dialogue because it's the next line in the script. You're saying these words because there's something happening in the situation where the character must speak these words. And what's driving the character is this thing we call the objective. Now, in acting, there's a lot of different words that are similar, have similar meaning. There's some nuanced differences. For the sake of time, I'm just going to list a bunch of them off. They get used more or less interchangeably. So you've probably heard some of them. So there's objective, intention, motivation, goal, need, mission. There's 6. There's probably more. So the first thing that you're going to tap into when you're like reading the scene, once you understand the given circumstances, is what is my character's objective? What do they want? What do they need? More important than what do they need in this scene? And always, that need, the objective, is in relation to your partner. What do I need from my partner in this scene? Now, one reason why the objective is such an important tool is it gives us something very specific to focus on, a focal point that enables us to be so concentrated on what I need in this moment that I can forget that I've memorized dialogue. I can forget that we've rehearsed. I can forget that we've decided last rehearsal on X, Y, or Z reaction, right? Because I'm just focusing on, I need you to uncross your legs right now. Well, that was easy. But that's a stupid objective. So for an objective, so this is not like just like a theoretical thing. This is a tool for you to use. So when you start working on your scene, you're gonna name your objective. This is what I need in the scene, and I've kind of distilled it down over the years into a very simple way to make it playable. If it's too complex, if I ask you what's your objective or what do you need in the scene, and you give me a whole paragraph, you can't play that moment to moment to moment. It's got to be something like really simple. So it comes down to, what do I want my partner, what do I need my partner to do or feel? I found that in true behavior, a lot of times we do want our partner to feel something. So I'm not focused on what I'm feeling, but I want you to feel something. Does that make sense? So what am I going to do to make you feel that thing? And in the course of me trying to make you feel the thing I want you to feel, that's going to stir up a lot of feelings in me that are going to be mixed and complex and not that I can control. But I can control what I'm doing to make you feel what I want you to feel. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Make sense to you guys over here?
Yes.
So if I want you to feel something, how do I know what you're feeling? Can I get inside your head to know what you're feeling?
No.
Or know what you're thinking?
You can try.
Unless you're like some super really cool scientist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Body language?
Yes, body language. It's basically by what your partner is doing. So even if my clearest objective is what I want my partner to feel, the only way I'm going to know if I've achieved that objective is by what I can make them do. So if I want you to feel remorse, then maybe what I have to do is I've got to make you cry. If I can make you cry, then I know I've got my objective. Yeah, that's genuine remorse. Does that make sense? If my objective is to make you feel attraction for me, then maybe what I want to do is I want you to kiss me. Right? Which is different than me letting you, it's different than me kissing you. Right? Or maybe it's just I want to see that light in your eyes. Can I see that light? Can I see you light up? Can I make you light up, smile, light in your eyes? So every moment on stage is about changing your partner in some way. Making them do something that is connected to making them feel something. Does that make sense? All right. So always, 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 it's like that simple, do or feel. You'll notice that a lot of these things are being broken down into binaries. Love, hate, or both. I care about how you perceive me, and I care about your well-being. Point of view is not binary. Point of view is multitudinous, but it has to be strong. And then, what's the problem? What's the crisis? What do I need my partner to do? Is my objective. All right, so then, There's a slightly more complex way to check yourself if your objective is really playable. And when I say playable, I mean, is it going to be useful to you? Is it going to be useful to you in the moment on stage? So, my acronym is PURPOSE. Is it personal? Is it urgent? Yes, it's got to be. It's got to be something I can get right now. It's not something I want you to do next week, right? It's something I need you to do right now. Does that make sense? It's urgent. It involves a reaction. The best way to make sure what you're doing on stage is real, is truthful, is if you're really making your partner react to you. Right? Can I really get a reaction out of my partner? That something alive is happening on stage. And it's not just like, oh, well, we planned it this way. No, I'm really making you react.
That was a little intimidating, but yeah, it worked.
So it's a reaction from your partner. There's an obstacle. If there's no obstacle, then the scene is over. The stakes are high. Life or death. Whatever's going to happen, if I don't get the remorse I need from you, then this relationship is over, and that's going to change the course of my life forever. Every moment on stage is going to change the course of that character's life forever. So sometimes, like when we say that the stakes are high, life or death, it's the reason why like 50% of the shows on TV are cop shows, right? Because cop shows are the easiest, cheapest, laziest way to make the stakes life or death. But the stakes are always life or death. Does that make sense? The course of life is going to be changed. And then finally, it should be exciting. Exciting for you to play. All right, so you get your script, you read it, you get a full understanding of the given circumstances, the inner environment, the outer environment, the charged relationship, and now what is happening in the scene, what's the conflict, the problem, and then what is my objective? What do I need my partner to do or feel, right? Then, so that's your objective. Then the tactics are like, how do I do it? How do I get you? How do I change you? How do I move you? How do I get you to do the things that I want? And we're going to break this down briefly. Like we've only got 4 minutes left, and then we'll go into more detail on all of this next class. On our feet, we're going to get on our feet and use it. But I'm just going to quickly break this down. So this is also like kind of a shorthand. It's a tool. It's a quick tool that you can pull out anytime. The objectives and tactics. So it is a reduction. But there are 2 basic types of tactics. There's charm and there's threat. In charm, you're getting your partner to do or feel by making them want to, by making it pleasurable for them in some way, making them want to do it. In threat, you're getting them to do it in order to avoid pain. So we also have like pleasure and pain would be another just easy way. Towards pleasure or away from pain. Next class, I'm going to go into more detail on these, but here, there's 5 basic categories, or 5 basic qualities under each of these, and then each of those qualities has many, many, many possibilities. So, the charm, play, open up, stir, validate, and soothe. threat, intimidate, command, scrutinize, outspeak, and yell. Very quickly, can you relate to any of these in terms of behavior? Which ones do you relate most to? What?
Yell.
Yell.
Sadness is, sorry, it's on there.
No, sadness is an emotion.
Yeah.
Yell and play.
Yell. It's funny, I wouldn't have pegged you as a big yell person.
Oh, I am.
Because the assumptions, we make assumptions about people all the time.
Yeah.
What on here,
Graduation.
what on here do you not understand? Like the word doesn't make sense to you? Yeah.
I just, what's the last word on the chart?
Soothe.
Oh, okay.
So when she's yelling, you're probably going to be trying to soothe her. Yeah.
Or I'm gonna yell back.
Outspeak.
I'm completely that one.
Yeah, this is just my bad handwriting. Outspeak.
Are these emotions or what are
These are tactics. These are things you do.
Validate.
Yeah, why? I don't get
Because
Validate.
hold your next class. We're gonna get into doing it. But I'm just gonna say, like, let's say, I need you to give me the $100 that you owe me. You remember?
Yeah, I
remember
remember
last
that.
week I loaned you $100.
I'm working on it.
And you told me you would get it back to me this week. Well, here it is. It's this week. It's this week. So maybe so
Wait till next week.
all of these different tactics. I can be playful about it. Come on, man, give me the $100 you owe me. Come on, I know you got it. I know you're good for it. Come on, give it to me. But I can do it in a playful way, or I can intimidate. Where's the money?
Stab him.
Give me the fucking money, man. Give it to me. And outspeak is like you try to make an excuse, and I just keep cutting you off, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't give a shit about your excuse. Give me the money. Give me the money right now, man. You're gonna be in trouble, man. Right? I can outspeak you. I can open up. Like I need that $100, man. If you don't give me the $100, I'm gonna be totally screwed.
Wish I could help you, but I can't.
Right. So does that make sense? All of these are different.
I get it more now. Yeah.
They're different actions that you can do to get your objective.
That makes more sense. Yeah.
And they will lead to emotions. They'll be stirring up emotions in you, but in a complex way, rather than just like playing sadness. Okay, just play sadness.
Yeah, when you were like almost yelling at me, that got me more like kind of scared.
Yes, I was using intimidate. I was using command. I used a little bit of open up. I used play. Good. So next week we're going to get to try all these different tactics out and enjoy them. Next week. I mean next class on Wednesday. On Wednesday. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a great day.